Okay, I think we're about ready to go. I'm doing sort of a live to tape thing here, so we'll see how that goes. Woo! New frontiers. Anyway, hello and welcome to Why I Love the Music That I Do. Now, the other day, I was chosen, or nominated, for one of those favorite albums. Anyway, the favorite album I picked was a bit obscure to some people, but I figured what I would do is with these albums that I choose, I would also have a video that came with it to explain sort of the deeper things for those people who actually care. So, welcome to episode 1. I'm going to call this one The Highwaymen. Some people know why that is, some people don't. It all started at Hillside Secondary School, 2295 Queens Avenue in West Vancouver. Now, we're going to jump in the way back machine here. Now, we're actually going back to a time where somebody thought this might be a good idea. If you don't know what that is, don't worry. So, back in 1985, 86, the graduating class of Hillside Secondary had a young man. Where are you? There you are. Young man graduating. Isn't he cute? That year, he was the president of student council, or dean of students, as it is sometimes referred. But he went on to become someone that many of you may know as Nardwuar the Human Serviette. Now, about 2 years after that, 1986, I met Grant Lawrence. We were in student council together. This is from Hillside. So this is our pre-dictatorship days. I think the reason they had Grant and I sitting together is because people always wanted to know where both of us were. Now, the year after that, they made Hillside a middle school and West Van Secondary a senior school. So a lot of us got shipped down to do 11-12 at West Van. Now, when we got to West Van, Grant and I both ran for student council again. Where am I here? There. So that's me in the kilt, Grant in the beard. Grant's speech ended with an assassination attempt. Mine ended with a dick joke, of course. Oddly enough, strange little factoid for you. When I made my speech, I was technically suspended from high school because I'd been in a fight the previous lunch. Don't ask. But all was made good. This is my little, where am I here? June 28th, 1989. In recognition of outstanding service to the school. So, yeah, I did that. But I will say, however, that the year after Grant and I were... he was president, I was vice president. The year after that, they changed the way that the student council worked forever. So, go us. Now, where was I? Oh, it's my clipboard. There's my clipboard. Anyway, Grant went on to form a band called The Smugglers with, I think Nick Thomas was probably the first person to. They originally were One-Eyed Jacks. So, when I first saw them, was at this show. This is actually a repro I made for another project. I'm embarrassed, I know. But I have the original handbill around here somewhere. I just couldn't be asked to find it right now. So there we have Nardwar's band, the Evaporators, and the One-Eyed Jacks. I think the first time they played as the Smugglers might have been Bamalama Bamaloo, which was that particular show could have its own have its own show. Okay, so when I was asked to pick an album, I picked this one. Don't fall, please don't fall. There we go. This is where are we? Up and Down and Seattle Bound on 45. Released 1990 on Nardwar Records. When I posted on Facebook, I mistakenly said that this was their first recording. Their first recording was actually this. They did a cover of Revenge. Fuck off. They did a cover of Revenge by the Others for this compilation, which was Nardwar's first album. Oh God, My Mum's on Channel 10. Now, for those of you who don't get that reference, Channel 10 used to be our cable access channel, Shaw Cable. And I do believe his mother had a local history show. So if you ever listen to the Evaporators music, there's a lot of history lessons in there. I think that comes to him naturally because his mother had a history show, local history show, on Channel 10. So the insert from Oh God, My Mum's on Channel 10, get in there, describes the lineup as The Smugglers. The Smugglers are a simple group of homeboys who ever since early 1987 have seen fit to play 3-chord 60s garage grunge for those Vancouverites who appreciate it. In November of 1988, the Smugglers made their break backing the Evaporators and the Gruesomes at an all-ages Nardwar show, Bamalama Bamaloo. Ever since then, the Smugglers have churned out their cave crap with other bands such as the Li-150s, the Vindicators, Stagnant Waters, Paul. So the original line here was Paul Preminger, drums, Grant Lawrence, vocals, Nick Thomas on guitar, Dave Carswell originally played bass for them, and Adam Woodall played harmonica. That changed quite a bit in future years. Paul Preminger, the drummer, unfortunately, we lost him in October of 2009. There's Paul there. So if you take a look at Paul, and you just saw the picture of what I looked like at about the same time. I didn't have ID, and I used his to get into the Town Pump one night. So either somebody wasn't paying attention, or the fix was in. Well, here it's. Now, another album which I didn't choose to put up that really changed my life was this, and I'll tell you why. If you look at the tracks on Oh God, My Mum's on Channel 10, it's basically sort of garage, West Coast, sort of the Sonics, the Yardbirds, a little bit of punk in there. But this, Welcome to My Castle by the Evaporators, was something I had never heard before. And it changed my perspective on what music could be. So, very nicely done. Let's go to the book here. Grant has written a couple of books. This is his third, I believe. If I got that wrong, I apologize. But this is just finishes off. The new band Nick and I formed was called the Smugglers. Our original intention was an homage to darker garage rock, A musical cross between the Sonics, the Velvet Underground, and the Cramps, built on our blueprint of the Rolling Stones with a decidedly Northwest twist. Our sound and look would evolve over time, but the music stayed rooted in rock and roll. The One-Eyed Jacks had lasted barely 18 months and collapsed in a metal meltdown. The Smugglers would straddle 3 different decades over 16 years. I'm actually mentioned in the acknowledgements for this book. Long-time fan. I don't know if that's going to focus, but it's there somewhere. Now, Grant's first book, I'm also sort of in, and it's kind of a funnier situation. His first book is called Adventures in Solitude, and it's an amazing book. Second one's great too, but I mean, second one's about being a goaltender, lonely end of the rink, I think, and then the third one is The Dirty Witches. But where I show up in this one is here. He's writing about a party that he had that I was helping out at. That kind of went to hell. The police spokesman said a police service dog assisted in removing over 100 unwanted people who refused to leave the homeowner's property. One female and one male subsequently received injuries from the police service dog. They were attacked. Of the 2 teens bitten by the dog, one is considering legal action following the incident. Meanwhile, said 19-year-old Baron Cameron, a friend of the host who attended and helped Lawrence defuse the situation, "It was all really ridiculous. We could have solved it ourselves peacefully and quietly in about 45 minutes. But they, the police, insisted on just coming in and turning the whole place into a madhouse for about half an hour." Cameron is a member of the Youth Advisory Committee, a student body working with the Municipal Council to address youth issues. You can build up friendships, but all it takes is one incident like this where you have a couple of cops and a couple of cops being jerks and a couple of kids being idiots. Anyway, I went down to the foot of the driveway of Grant's house and spoke to the police and walked back to his house, walked back to the cops, and by that time they were putting on their riot gear, so that's what they were doing. Now, Grant's house also served as the sort of a place where the band's visiting messenger. Now, here is a tape from way back when. Grant used to give out his home number on their promos. Now, since then, like 1989, let's say, they have over 30 albums, EPs, 45s, compilations. One of my favorites, this one here. Oh, whoa. Atlanta Whiskey Flats on Pop Llama. I think that came out in 1992. Has a nice little write-up in Rolling Stone magazine. It wasn't a huge article or anything, but still, Rolling Stone magazine. March 18th, 1993. For truth in advertising, the record to beat this year has to be the Smugglers' brilliant Beatles bootleg pastiche Atlanta Whiskey Flats, Pop Lemon. The cover is a spot-on takeoff on a mid-70s Fab 4 contraband release, right down to the title, typography, and the appropriation of the real album's trademark of quality staples. The music, a bang-up guitar rumble, Star Club style, barroom bop, laced with Thrasher magazine attitude. Frankly, the original's Beatles boot wasn't this much fun. So there you go. Now another 1993. Came with this one, Smugglers in the Hall of Fame. I'm in the liner notes for this one too somewhere, I think. I can read. But one of the songs on this album is called, actually it's track 1. Rock and Roll was never this fun. We'll get back to that one in a second, so we'll leave that right There. Okay. We did that. Oh, right. Okay. The other day, I posted something on Facebook that some people considered rude, but fuck you. Where am I here? Screenshot. All right. Hello. Am I going to focus? Is that going to work? Oh, it looks like it might work. Anyway. Hello, does anyone have any advice for getting exposure for your band? And I wrote, yes. Pull your mom's titty out your mouth and go play. So some people didn't know. It's fine. Now, the reason why I wrote shit like that is because going back to pre sort of internet days, this is my official Smugglers fan club card. And being part of the fan club, we would get these. Now what these are the official Smugglers newsletter, spring 1990. That's handwritten ink right there. Details what they're doing, shows coming up. Some media. And then, for instance, this one is spring 1990 number 2. Again, what's going on the shows for those of us who helped out. It's got Can You Help? So yeah, that's how they got exposure for their band, is they fucking worked for it. Now, when it comes to mail, some of you may know, and for those of you who don't, trust me when I say it would delight me to tell you how my mail is addressed when it comes to my house. My mail comes addressed to the King of West Vancouver. And so on. 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 Except for these two, which are addressed to the Prince of Tides and Ace McSpanky Pants. Now, the reason why I brought that up, other than the sheer joy of mentioning that my mail is addressed to the King of West Vancouver, so the reason why that is the very first one was from Grant, when he wrote to send me I guess it was probably a flyer, like a mail letter flyer from Mint Records, addressed to Baron Cameron, King of West Vancouver. Where did I put my... There. Now, the last time I saw the Smugglers play was pretty much almost exactly 3 years ago. It was part of their reunion tour, as part of the book tour for them. It was at the Commodore. It was a great show. But now, as I said, their real first recording was probably, I guess it would have to be 88, 89. Nardwar used to do this show on CITR, and one of the shows he did was called Tape-O-Mania, and what it was is the band would play live on the radio, and you'd sit at home and you'd tape it. Which I did. So the next day at school was the first time they'd heard themselves on tape, listening on probably my red plastic sports Walkman. Sorry, Walkman. Now, the reason I brought that up is I still have that tape somewhere. I might have given it to Grant, I don't know, but I still have it somewhere. Now, on the back side of it, one night, we were all at Grant's house. Now, it would have been Paul, Adam, Dave, Grant, and me. And what happened was they used to rehearse in the basement of the house. And I guess it was Adam disappeared. And the guitar started playing. You could hear it through the rafters. And so Paul says, I'll go tell him to shut up. And he disappears. And the drums start. And then Dave goes downstairs to get them to shut up. And then the bass starts up with Adam playing and Dave playing guitar. And then Grant and I probably sat for 10 minutes trying to resist it, and we finally ended up going down there. And I put the tape into like one of the old ghetto blasters that had that little slot recorder for microphone for recording, and recorded a live off the floor version of Rock and Roll Was Never This Fun. It is a very simple song. So simple that these days I'm actually able to play it. Figure out where my headphones are. There they are. La 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 la. Hopefully this works. If the sound sucks, so what? It'll be better next time. That's my gift to you. What am I doing? There it is. Now, if it sounds like I fuck up at the beginning of the song, I didn't actually do that because the song actually starts with them fucking up at the beginning of the song. So. I don't think I've ever actually played a Smuggler song for anybody else before. Yeah, I played a few of them. And if I forget the lyrics, sorry. Which would be embarrassing because they're pretty simple lyrics too. Anyway, for music that influenced me, thank you to the Smugglers, thank you to Nardwar, the Highwaymen, and let's see if this will work for us. Come on, really?
Okay, let's rock. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright. Okay, let's rock. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright.
Rock and roll was never this fun. 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 We used to love Prince until we saw the Breast Move. We used to love Elvis till we saw the Breast Move. We used to love Prince until we saw OMD. We used to love Prince until we saw OMD. Rock and roll was never this fun. Rock and roll was never this fun. Rock and roll was never this fun. Rock and roll. Take me away on a rocket ship. Take me away on a starship, girl. Make a fool of this busy sea. Take me away, I'll rock me away. Rock and roll was never this fun. Rock and roll was never this fun. Rock and roll was never this fun. Rock kids of love. We were young kids out for fun. Now we're pretending rosy. We're on the point where we're still having fun. Rock and roll was never this fun. Rock and roll was never this fun. Anyway, you get the idea. The thing is, rock and roll wouldn't have been this fun if it hadn't been for all of them and everything they did. So, according to my clipboard. Oh, wait, one more thing. Haha! I just remembered. I'll leave you with this. This is from January 26th, 2008. It's from the Evaporator show as part of their 20th anniversary at Sealand Hall. Come on. There we go. Let's see if this works for us.
This next song is dedicated to a guy in the audience, Baron Cameron. He has a YouTube channel set up, and he saw a lot of the bands that were mentioned in this song, the Young Canadians, the Enigmas, and the Villains, set the stage for our future cool children years ago in North Shore. These were cool local bands playing at Hillside Secondary School in West Vancouver, Canada. Baron Cameron saw that. This is dedicated to Baron.
So yeah, there you go. It's why I love the music that I do.